Now, moving on to understand what are there in the inner layers of the earth, the crust, core and the mantle. What does they contain? We discussed earlier that they contain minerals, they contain rocks. Let us now learn the rock system, how the rocks are formed in the layers of the earth, who are going to keep them, what is the natural process that happens there. First, in order to understand how the rocks and the minerals are formed, we need to know first from where the rocks are basically formed. From where do we get the rocks? First thing is, when a volcano bursts outside. Volcano is a vent, is an opening of the innermost lava which gets burned, comes out magma and reaches to the outermost part of the earth, that is on the crust. That is the base for the formation of different rocks and different minerals. So, no one is making any rock here. We are just studying the natural process, how the rocks are made, how we segregate them into different categories. So, the outermost layer of the earth, the lithosphere, let us call it as lithosphere, let us call it as crust, let us call it as continental mass, whatever it is, whatever name you call, the rocks, the hardened substance on the planet earth is made up of rocks. There are different types of rocks. What is a rock actually? A rock is a natural mass. It's a combination of minerals. It's a combination of the things which happen naturally, where no one can create a rock. Different kinds of salts coming together and minerals coming together and becoming a hardened substance is known as a rock. And these rocks differ basing on their color, basing on the size and basing on the texture. There are different rocks of different colors, there are different rocks of different sizes, there are different rocks of different textures. The designs they are made are natural designs. I am not talking about the designer designs, I am talking about the natural designs, how they are made by the nature. And we can broadly categorize them into three major categories. First, the igneous rocks, second, the sedimentary rocks, third, the metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks are the rocks which are formed from the word called ignis, which is taken from a Latin word meaning fire. So, the igneous rocks name we got from the word ignis, which is a Latin word meaning fire. They are always burning, as we got from the lava, the magma which comes outside is burning. So, with that burning sensation whichever is formed on the layer of the earth, which is formed on the uppermost layer, on the crust. See, once the lava starts to melt down, when it comes down, the magma, once it bursts outside and comes down, it flows on for months and months. Once it flows for months and it passes on through the layers of the earth, it tries to cool down as the atmosphere starts to interact with that, and the ecosystem changes because from inside it is coming outside, the temperatures are not so high. So, from the molten state, it starts to come towards the hardened state or cooling down into solid particle. So, if it cools down on the uppermost layer, on the extensive part of the crust, it is known as extrusive rocks. It is known as extrusive rocks. The example for the extrusive rocks are basalt rocks, which are found in the Deccan Plateau. And coming to the other category of rock, that is in the igneous rocks only, that is the when we have gaps, the cracks in between the rocks, in between the places, the molten lava tries to move in between these gaps and fills that gaps, and once it gets cooled down, it gets hardened and combines the other two rocks also with the help of this combination. So, here it is trying to fill the gaps, but it is going into the inner layers of the earth, deeper parts of the earth than the crust. It is not just staying on the upper part of the crust, it is going into the inner layers of the earth. That's why here it is known as intrusive rocks. It is going inside the crust. That's it's called intrusive rocks. When it is found on the uppermost layer of the crust, we are calling it as extrusive rocks. So the example for intrusive rocks is granite. Granite can be cut and can be used for different types of combinations. We all know granite is very famous. Then in the igneous rocks, we have two types of rocks again. One is intrusive rocks, the other one is extrusive rocks. And coming to the next one, the second category, that is sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary, the word of this sedimentary, we are getting it from the Latin word called sedimentum. Sedimentum in Latin means settle down. Settle down. What is settling down here? Again, go back to the volcano, bursting outside, flowing down for months and months and months. Whatever magma, whatever lava is getting settled on the uppermost layers of the crust or little bit deeper, just on the cracks of the crust, is known as igneous rocks. But if it is going into the deeper parts of the crust, inside, deeper and getting settled down there, then it is called sedimentary rocks. The example for sedimentary rock is sandstone. And coming to the third category, the metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic name we are getting from the word called metamorphose. What is the meaning of the word metamorphose? Metamorphose means to change, to get transformed, to get modified. What is getting modified here? Rocks are getting modified, lava is getting modified, magma is getting modified. What is getting modified now? Igneous rocks, either the intrusive or the extrusive or the sedimentary rocks, when they are heated in high temperatures, they can get transformed into metamorphic rocks. So the existing rocks, when they are exposed to extreme heat, there is a possibility to get transformed into another form, to get changed into another form, not in the liquid state but in the solid state only. They get transformed into the other form of rock. So that form of rock is known as metamorphic rocks. Example, we have limestone getting modified as marble, clay getting modified as slate. So like this, existing rocks get changed into the other form, like lime into marble, clay into slate. What is the use of these rocks actually for the mankind? Why do we use these rocks? Either the igneous rock or the sedimentary rock or the metamorphic rock. Why are we bothered about these rocks? As a human, in order to improve our luxuries, in order to improve our comforts, we start to use the nature which we discussed in the previous part of the lesson. Earlier man used to get adjusted. Later he started to make changes, modify the nature. So in this process, he started to build roads. For building roads, we need rocks, a very strong and hardened particle, rocks. We need to build our houses. Earlier he used to stay in the caves, in the huts. Now he is staying in the villas. So the constructions have to be done. We have a designer, we have a town planning department, we have engineers. All these people do designs of construction of the houses. But the construction has to be done with the help of the rocks. Then we build buildings. Burj Khalifa building with 160 floors buildings, tall towers. All these are built with rocks only. So wherever we stay, wherever we walk, wherever you work, all these are built with one or the other form of rocks only. That's why it is important for us to know about the rocks. So how many types of rocks we have? 3 types of rocks. How do we differentiate the rocks? Basing on their color, basing on the size, basing on the texture. We broadly categorize the rocks into 3 categories. First one is the igneous rocks, second one is the sedimentary rock, third one is the metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks are also divided into intrusive and extrusive rocks. Igneous name we derived from the Latin word called ignis, meaning fire. Sedimentary we took it from the Latin word called sedimentum, which is meaning settle down. And metamorphic we took it from the word called metamorphos, which is a Greek word which is giving a meaning like getting transformed or getting changed or getting modified from one form to the other form. All these different kinds of rocks are used for construction of the roads, houses and buildings. Inside our earth, chapter 2, what do we have under the layers of the earth? As we know, earth is a dynamic planet. We have discussed in the previous chapters what is the environment, how the ecosystem is important for us, what does the ecosystem contain, all the living and the non-living creatures, all these aspects we have covered in chapter 1. Now coming to chapter 2, what do we have inside our earth? What are the important layers? How are they divided? How did we come to know? And all these aspects we will be covering in the second chapter, that is inside our earth. So first, as we all know, earth is a dynamic planet. So in the dynamic planet, we have discussed about the upper layers, that is the lithosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere and atmosphere, which all are physically appearing on the uppermost layers of the earth. Coming to the interior of the earth, what is there in the interior layers of the earth? In the interior layers of the earth, we have again 3 layers. One is crust, mantle and core. In the crust, mantle and core, they are not equally divided as layers of any pizza or anything. They are divided unequally. First, the crust has 35 kilometers of width on the continental masses, while on the ocean floor it has 5 kilometers. Coming to the mantle, mantle just beneath the crust, we have the mantle layer, that is 2900 kilometers of radius of that, and below that we have the core, which is the central part of our earth, interior layers of the earth, which again consists of inner core and outer core, which is at the radius of 3500 kilometers. So total we have 6400 kilometers of distance from the center of the earth to the uppermost layer of the earth. So as we go deeper and deeper, the temperatures go on increasing and it becomes very difficult for us to go inside. Till date, in South Africa, they are able to reach only up to maximum of 4 kilometers, or through petrol pumps up to 6 kilometers, but not more than that. So we need to know much more about the inner layers of the earth. The continental crust. The crust in the continental mass consists of the minerals like silica and aluminum. So in short form, we also call this layer as Cl. Silica Si and aluminum Al, Cl, and we also call the ocean floor as silica and magnesium combination SiMa, Si for silica and Ma for magnesium. And coming to the mantle, in mantle we have a radius of 2900 kilometers and we find the minerals like silica, magnesium here also. And coming to the core, in core it is spread over the radius of 3500 kilometers, and here we find the minerals like nickel and ferrous, so we call it as knife. Ni from nickel and Fe from ferrous, so is a combination of NiFe, that is knife. Like this, we have 3 important layers under the layers of the earth or beneath the earth, the floor of the earth. So these all comes under the interior layers of the earth. Now what do we have in these interior layers of the earth? Do we have rocks? Do we have minerals? What do we have? If we have, how are they getting transformed? How are they useful to us? What is the process that is happening in the layers of the earth? These all points we will try to learn now. Let us now learn about the rock cycle. What is this rock cycle? Till now we discussed about the different types of rocks. How are they formed? From where are they starting? What is the natural process that is going on behind the entire formation of different rocks? Now let us see how the rock cycle concept is going through. Just It's a recap of what we have learned in this entire chapter. First, rock cycle is a word which is given to the transformation of the rocks. The one form of the rock is getting transformed into the other form of the rocks. Either the igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, or the metamorphic rocks. The transformation of the rocks from one form to the other form is called as rock cycle. Then, what is getting transformed in igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks, or the sedimentary rocks? What is getting transformed here? The thing that is getting transformed from one form to the other form is the molten magma. The molten magma which is erupting outside from the volcano is settling down, getting cooled, and first it is becoming as igneous rocks. Then it is breaking down into small sediments and becoming as a sedimentary rock. Again, when igneous as well as sedimentary rocks are exposed to heat or subjected to heat, it is getting transformed into the metamorphic rocks or getting changed into the other form of rock, that is metamorphic rock. Again, when they are getting heated under the layers of the earth, it is becoming the part of molten magma, and again the entire process is going on. That's why what is getting transformed here is the molten magma. So how does it get transformed? First, molten magma erupts outside from the volcano and gets cooled. Then the igneous rocks are formed. Igneous rocks are of two types. When it is forming on the outermost layer, we call it as extrusive rocks. When it is forming in the inner parts of the layer, we call it as intrusive rocks. The breaking down of the sediments of the igneous rocks are getting formed as sediments, and these sediments are again pressured by the wind, by water, and brought in combination as a rock. So we call them as sedimentary rock. Either the igneous rocks or the sedimentary rocks, to be frank, both are same. Igneous rock breaking down, becoming sedimentary. So either the igneous rock is exposed to heat or the sedimentary rock is exposed to heat. Both are the same type of rocks. Both have their origins from molten magma only. So when they are exposed to heat, they are getting transformed. But there is a change. Limestone is getting into marble, clay is getting into a slate. So you should get a doubt. Why are they getting changed like that? If the same type of rocks are getting changed into different types of rocks, they have to change it in one form only, why are they changing into the other form? Like for example, lime into marble, clay into slate. Lime also should change into slate, or clay also should change into a marble. But the things are not going like this. It is going in the reverse order. Why there are changes into different rocks now? Why there is a different rocks? That is, the combination of the minerals and the layers of the earths are different. Molten magma is common, but the minerals are different. As we discussed, in the first layers of the earth we have silica, aluminum and magnesium, but in the third layer core we have nickel and ferrous. So these different minerals combinations result in formation of different kinds of rocks. That is a key point what we need to remember here. Even if it is igneous rock or the sedimentary rock, both are same type of rocks, but the combination of the minerals is different. And as we discussed, igneous rock is at a stretch rock. When it is broken down into parts and gets settled down, so the combination of the minerals there is different when compared to the combination of the minerals in the igneous rocks. That's why when they are exposed or subjected to heat and pressure, they are getting transformed into different kinds of rocks. The metamorphic stage, metamorphosis is happening there. So in order to make it very simple for you to understand what is the rock cycle concept, the rock cycle concept is just transformation of rocks from one form to another form. What is getting transformed from one form to other form is molten magma. The igneous rocks, I have written it here. The igneous rocks, then they are broken down into sediments, then it is becoming sedimentary rocks, then it is becoming the metamorphosis is happening, and in the metamorphosis again when it is heated, it is becoming the part of the molten magma which is in the interior parts of the volcano. Again when the volcano erupts outside, The same metamorphic rocks in the molten state come out as magma, and again the entire process happens. So, again the igneous rocks, again the sediments, again the sedimentary rocks, again the metamorphic rocks, again the magma. So, this entire process is happening continuously. That's why we call this as a chain of activities or cycle of activities. That is the rock cycle.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.